Nna Anyi Ezechima features very prominently in the founding of Onitsha, and of course a whole lot of other communities. On the Nna Anyi and Yoruba side, there are probably about 19 communities that disclaim descent from Chima. On this side, many more. There are four versions of how Onitsha came to exist. Okay, one, from S.I. Bosa, on the history of Onitsha. And the Onitsha were part of, they were Edo people, and then Esebeuku, and they migrated, okay, led by Chima. Okay. Eluwa, who wrote the book Adonidu, claims that the Onitsha were part of that return migration, or that migration of Ndi Igbo when they left Ile-Ife. So they stopped in Benin for several centuries and then continued their migration. A third hypothesis, which comes from Iseluku, there's a book, The History of Iseluku Kingdom. Now, Chima was the 5th king of Benin. I'm sorry, the Chima was 5th king of Iseluku. But his father was the 4th, his grandfather was the 3rd, his great-grandfather was the 2nd, and then the 1st king of Iseluku was the son, the 2nd son of Oba Eweka, the 1st of Benin. Which means that Benin kingdom, Oba sent his son, 2nd son, to go and form a new kingdom as a defense against Igala and Igbo attackers. That is their claim. That's how Iseluku got established. And that Onitsha is the 5th king of direct descent from Eweka the 1st. Now it gets interesting because Eweka the 1st is the son of Oramion, who is the son of Oduduwa, established. And these Benin people now claim that very clear since the new Oba came into the throne. So there are linkages which we need to figure out. That's the point I'm making. You know, and in all of this, Benin features very, very actively. And of course, the 4th migration, but actually Aro, because the Aros were itinerant people migrating from one place to the other. Aro medicine man went to Benin, established himself, became a soothsayer to the king. Then there was a disagreement and he came back. Okay. But then, if you go through the history, you'll find that the Chima era existed before we know of the Aro migration. There's an Aro migration westwards and then came back again. So, which of them? There are also a whole lot of consequences, you know, in terms of, if you look at all these 4 theories. I discount the Aro hypothesis. But S.I. Bosa, Abundi Bini, Eluwa, Abia and Benin are migrated. And then, of course, Iseluku, that Abundi Iseluku, originally, but migrated from Benin. By the way, after Chima reigned, Iseluku went into crisis. Azolo to replace him, went into crisis, which led to the migration of Oreze coming back to form Onitsha. But then other people from Iseluku went to found other communities, Isela Zaba, Isela Chima, Onitsha, Olona, etc., etc. Okay. But one thing is constant, that there was a migration from Benin. Okay. So the Oreze group then arrived, got across, and settled down. Okay. So we're looking at Onitsha now from the time Oreze settled with his people, followed by Chima, Obi Chima, followed by other kings, up to Arole. So from Oreze was the beginning of Onitsha, settling down. Arole took it to the next level, and I look at the third level now when Christianity and colonialism came up to the present time. Now, the components of Onitsha Donidu, which is Onitsha, okay? The components, first of all, is the core group that Chima led up to wherever it was. And Oreze now led them across. And that was Chima, comprising of Isiokwe, Olosi, Umwezarode, and Okebunabo. Okay? For Chima and Onitsha. The second group, Bundi Bayazo, the migration along the way, all came up together and all had their functions. Ugunobamba, Kenu Bene, and all of that. The third group, Bundi Ekudo, Nde Gala Ekudo on the waterfront, who helped to ferry them across. They now constitute two villages, Obi Oro, I'm sorry, not Obi Oro, Obotu and Belekeke. Okay. Obi Oro is also a Gala, but all their father, the Gala, that married the daughter of Ezarole. Then the fourth group, Betazil Onitsha. Bundi Sizi Ani Bundi Ozo, Oze particularly, and Oze Noko Dinawunye a lot. Ogidi, Ubosi, and all of that. All of us are now integrated into Onitsha, what as we know today, 4 different groups, but into one. That's what we are today. Okay? And then, of course, in that dispersion from Iselu, I mentioned there were about 19 communities on the western side of the Niger, Nna Anyi, Anioma, that Bundi, who claimed descent from Chima. And then on the eastern side, well, Abo is also on the western side, but from Onitsha, movement, they went to Uguta and founded Uguta. And his other brother went to Abo and founded Abo. So all of that constitutes Ezechima as we know today. But there's more. There's more. Because on the eastern side of the Niger, Onitsha, Deputy Governor, are you hearing me? I will Onitsha bomb. Onitsha bomber, the city. Onitsha mi Isu Ikwato. They're all in Abia State. Onitsha. And Ijuafa, those people always see themselves as slightly different from the larger community around them. In Imo State, I'm very familiar with that one. Onichudo, Nambise, and Onishankwere, both in Imo State. And Ebonyi State, well, Onisha Hozara, Onisha Eza, and Hozara, well, Onisha Eba. And of course, the Enugu State, they will Onitsha. Okay? So, that's what I'm trying to say. We are dispersed, all over the place. What are the connections between with all these Onitsha's with the Chima dynasty? These are questions that should be answered. This is why we need this Center for Igbo Repository. So we can do research, we can do more research, do more inquiries, go on the spot, look at their artifacts, do excavations, and find out the historical connections, and so on and so forth. We need to know. We need to know. There is more. In Yoruba land, in Oyo State, and 4 communities that are spelled Onisa, O-N-I-S-A. We know in Yoruba, O-N-I-S-A is called Onitsha. So in Oyo State, there are 4 communities In Oyo, 4 communities. Obomosho, 3 communities. Ogun State, 1. Osun State, 1. Are there any connections with Onitsha and Kaimau? Or is it a creation of their own, or whatever it is? We need to inquire. We need to find out how those people got to where they were. Because when Ife broke up, people migrated in different directions. Okay? People migrated in different directions. See? So it could be that these people went on their own way when the main group was going, but we need to find out. We need to know. This is why research is important. So we fast track then to back to Onitsha itself. Okay, I've talked about the arrival of Oreze as the beginning of the foundation of Onitsha town, Onitsha community, Onitsha Donidu, or Onitsha Mili as we know it today. The next level was Ezra Rolling, who came from Igala and brought Igala royal traditions, which are far more sophisticated, moving on to the next level. And the third, of course, I said, was the arrival of Christianity and colonialism. And both of them arrived in the same vessel in 1857, the day spring, okay? Which better than Onitsha, under Obi Akazua, okay? Just to fast track, between 1863 and 1888, the colonial government or the colonialists extracted at least four treaties, a few more, but 4 major treaties from Nna Onitsha, our traditional rulers, on the suppression of slave trade, on the prevention of human sacrifice, on the opening and encouraging of legitimate trade, on the protection of Christian missionaries, and on the cession of title. They took our land, we just signed, and put our thumbprint, and then finally on the protection by the colonial government, which is why we became a protector. We became part of the protectorate. As we're getting the treaties from us, they're doing the same in Asaba, doing the same in Otmanam, doing the same in all the other communities. See? Whilst the colonialists were doing their own bits, trying to browbeat us and subjugate us, the Christians were also spreading Christianity. The CMS mission, I said, arrived in 1857 on the day spring. Ajayi Crowther, J.C. Taylor, and Simon Jonas. Ajayi Crowther was Yoruba, J.C. Taylor and Simon Jonas Bundibo, slaves that were saved from the slave ships, taken to Sierra Leone, educated, and then they became missionaries and they came. And of course, they settled in Onitsha. Onitsha became the base for the Anglican CMS mission to spread Christianity up in the north into the middle belt, the south to the Niger Delta, east and west, and so on. And Onitsha became the seat. Ajayi Crowther eventually became bishop of what eventually became the whole territory of Nigeria, except Lagos, Ibadan, and Abeokuta, that were under the diocese of Sierra Leone, Freetown, Sierra Leone. So Onitsha became the headquarters of the CMS mission in the whole of Nigeria, under Ajayi Crowther. And following that was C.J. Patterson, again Onitsha, Christ Church Onitsha, with their thrones, became the Archbishop of West Africa from Onitsha, ruling the whole of West Africa Anglican Communion. So Onitsha began to acquire status with the church. Of course, many of our people became pioneers, missionaries, including Reverend Yemunam, Bishop Onyabo, and so on. As if by magic, 28 years later, the Catholic mission arrived at Onitsha. Again, made Onitsha their base from where they spread Christianity. Reverend Father Lutz, then Bishop Shanahan, then Bishop Hiri, and so on and so forth. So Onitsha has been fortunate because with Christianity came education. So Onitsha people became, again, early beneficiaries of modern education. And of course, behind that also came medical services. But of course, there are backlashes because Christianity now says that polygamy is not the right thing to do. So, if you want to become a Christian, I think you should and marry only one, the first wife, and all of that. And that's created a pushback, from some of our people. A few other things that they were demanding, which by now Tarasi and so on. In Onitsha, the big challenge the Christianity had, one, Ozo Onitsha. We still have issues, but we're in dialogue. See, that asking if you can night no noka. You see, pastor nature of issues or set up rank she go to night. So it's normalizing. And one of our very ardent Catholics, Ibu Diopa Lule Abefa. And he was torn between he was torn between that and his Christianity. He went to the Archbishop, Hiri. Hiri said, so they took a video of Ozo Onitsha. I went to Rome and presented it to the Pope. Pope said, I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't see anything wrong with that. So Ozo Onitsha goes to and it's very fundamental to our spiritual beliefs. Okay. The second book equals Nkwanabo, which again we've explained to the church. You see, if you dialogue, you get understanding, and sometimes even our masquerades, cause a problem. But now Onitsha became the foundation, and Onitsha has benefited on the back of the Christian schools, particularly the secondary schools, CKC, DMGS, QRC. Entry was very competitive. What happened? Private schools sprang up. New Bethel College, Africa College, Our Ladies High School, Washington Memorial, Etukuku Memorial, Zik Institute, New Era. So many. Onitsha now became the mecca for people who are seeking for secondary education from everywhere. So, Onitsha, Kandina military, who are military commanders, who are governors of states and everywhere, in the north and everywhere else. We can take over Nigeria. So Onitsha has benefited, okay? So we come to our culture, Onitsha culture. I'm just rushing because I don't want to hold you too long. Onitsha culture today and our traditions have four roots. Edo, which is Benin, Igala, Igbo, and then our own self-originated elements of cultural behavior and norms and practices. Okay. Edo, our real traditions come from Edo and Igala, mixed Edo and Igala. Okay. Ifulu, Abani, Dupetalo, Asaba. That is very much Edo symbolism, okay, which we have also. Certain other elements, which is Igala. Our spiritual beliefs, our traditional spiritual beliefs, are largely Igala and Igbo. Largely Igala and Igbo. Ndi Onitsha, more Afia, Mogonogo, Igala. We know the spiritual symbolism of Mogonogo. Na Saba, Obu, Egugu. Egugu is the equivalent for us. And the interesting thing, now Lagos, well, Eyo, which they call Egugu also, and other Yoruba areas have Eyo. And Eyo, in Yoruba land, commands the same respect as Egungun and Asaba, as Moafia and Onitsha. So there's some connection there. Then our social system is largely Igbo by acculturation, okay? And then of course we have our own self-generated, internal-generated elements of our culture and tourism. Then of course our governance and jurisprudence is largely Edo. So Nna Anyi, okay, Edo, the same titles of Nna Anyi are repeated or copied it from there. Asaba has some equivalents, Iseluku has some equivalents, and so on and so forth. And the functions of Nna are similarly the same. And of course, as we say, culture is never constant. It keeps moving and keeps evolving. Okay. I'll talk about our political system very quickly and our judicial system. The political system, our monarch, Igwe, is at the peak of it, supported by Nna, who we refer to today as the political heads of their various villages, etc. Nna originally were the warlords to protect our boundaries. By word of mouth, courts and all that. But they're the political heads of their various communities. And we meet together at the Council of Nna, where we discuss issues of the community under the monarchy, under the monarch. I went to yesterday. We had a 4.5 hours meeting yesterday. That's normal. Okay. Today we have 24 Nna, but the total number we could have is 52. And those are established positions, established by our ancestors, which I can't even change. I can't add or subtract. If there are vacancies, we fill them in the fullness of time. Okay? And Nna in 3 categories. Ndiume, the Madi Sea, and each of them looks after 1/6 of Onitsha. Ndiume, they are the first class chiefs. And then, of course, Ndiokwa are the next, and Ndiokwa Reze, the third class. All of us have our duties and so on. On the other side, I went on the Diopa. The Diopa are the spiritual heads of their villages and their communities, etc. So only Onitsha, his village, is spiritually subject to Diopia. So I don't want to, if Onitsha, Diopa asoplo Onitsha. Moab no more. I'm Diopa. And I have to respect him as my Diopa. And I respect him as a Onitsha. Okay. Then other groups, constituent groups, Onitsha Improvement Union will celebrate its centenary next year. Actually, it was due this year. We'll celebrate it early next year. They're 100 years old. Doing what other town unions do. Okay. But it was founded in Lagos, actually, as a welfare organization until they came back home and so on and so forth. Our age-grade societies perform very distinct roles in Onitsha. Depending on their age, the youngest ones do the job of protecting the community. As we go older, and the older ones then join Nna in governance of the community. Ndị Agbalanze, ndị ọzọ, some of them are here. Each ọzọ is a spiritual anointing. Open each ọzọ Onitsha, you cannot be an Onitsha, you cannot be Eze Onitsha. So that's the significance of Ozo Onitsha. It's a stepping stone to spirituality, our traditional superiority, to rise to higher levels. They perform their own social functions in Onitsha. Ndị okenye, asị na ichi ọzọ na-egbu ọdụ n'Onitsha. Okenye lui means you can ekwu eziokwu. You will not engage in anything that is not proper and you provide leadership. That's what it's all about. And then, Igbo Onitsha, their primary purpose, they were in charge of the markets. They operated the markets. But also, they look after all our shrines and deities in Onitsha. And they look after the welfare of the women, the governance of the women, the Fanaka. Unfortunately, for over 100 years, I can shiro Omu no Onitsha. Omu bu onye si ndi Igbo Onitsha. She is the leader of the women group. And Omu has almost the same authority as Eze Onitsha, except over the women. She will dress like Eze Onitsha, and in public events, she sits immediately to the left of Eze Onitsha. That is the role of the Omu. We're in dialogue, and someday we'll get it back. Then, of course, the Onitsha Youth Council, I think many of them are here, a very strong group, and their former leader, Honorable Ayamba, has done so well that the Anambra State government appointed him the Commissioner for Youths, and he's doing very, very well in that position. So that's our political setup. And the judiciary, we have stages. Between two people or between two groups. The Diopa of the community is the first level. Then Onyiche of the community is the next level. Then Obi in council sits in a court every Wednesday to adjudicate cases. And most cases are resolved at that level. Any appeal from there now comes to me as the final arbiter and the final ruler. But I can say to you that hardly, I can count number of cases and none of them has gone and come back to reverse the decision that the Obi of Onitsha, in consultation with the chiefs, has made. That is how we govern ourselves.